Yeah, they're way more prepared than they ever were
Yeah.
in the past.
And we're hearing the same thing too, right? Where someone was asking, I was at a real estate panel, and we had the chief economist for Fannie Mae on the panel. Someone asked, like, what are you guys doing now? Like, how is this different than last time? Like, oh, it's really easy. We're prepared this time. Like, we didn't have 2007 last time.
Right.
So yeah, and we got a chance to work through all the systems. So what exactly does Privy do?
It's a hard question to answer succinctly because we do a lot of different things. What I will say is that we do a lot of things that most companies don't do. Okay. So one of the things that makes us different is that we've got direct to MLS data contracts. So I'm happy to announce that we just launched the Phoenix market, the greater Phoenix market.
Good, because I was beating you up on that last time we talked.
You were, and it was a goal of mine to get that done for you and your team because there's such a high demand of, I call Phoenix the wholesale capital of the world because there's just so much going on here. People still love it, and that's great. However, it's one of many that we are working on. So we're approaching 70 direct to MLS data markets with
that's huge.
That direct to MLS data, which is why is it important? Well, it's updated more often than any other data source. You've got status updates, price changes. You get access to information before it gets to the county. So like if a house is fix and flips and sells today and the agent reports that back to the MLS and they put it as sold, I mean, in Maricopa County, it might be 3 weeks before they even know that thing's sold, right? Because they're so delayed and the county they are who they are. And every county is different. But my users will know about it an hour within if they're actually go in and look.
Yeah.
Right. That's a huge advantage to be able to really lock in that up-to-date information and know the value is today, because in a shifting market, like if you don't have your finger on the pulse, you're going to make a mistake and you're going to be making a decision based off of data that's old or inaccurate. And again, in a business where everything's based off of numbers, if you're off 5% on either direction on your value, that's the difference between you making and losing money.
Well, not just making or losing money, also maybe not getting the deal. If your numbers are wrong, right, and someone else has better data, they might buy it because they know more than you do. I mean, one of the best flips I've had was just total happenstance. I just knew that neighborhood better than other people, right? Like there's just one part within this square block that it's all semi-custom built. Just one little subdivision that's all semi-custom in an attract neighborhood, right? But if you didn't know that area, you would have passed on that deal. But we bought it off the auction block, right? And killed it because we were willing to bid more than anybody else. Yeah. Because we knew that neighborhood better than anybody else.
I call that local market intelligence.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that we do that no other platform does. So we're tracking all the investment properties as they're happening in real time. So I can come into any market, or I can do this nationwide. Let's say you're trying to choose a market because you're tired of Phoenix and you want to start looking someplace else. Well, where do you go? Well, the first thing people think is like, okay, well, where do I have boots on the ground? Where does my uncle live? Where do I go to college?
Yeah.
Where do I vacation? Right? Thinking that boots on the ground is going to make a significant difference in their ability to execute in that market, which
it's funny you say that because that is definitely the thinking process, but not how we should be making that decision.
Right. But so here's the thing. That's definitely a benefit if it aligns with what the data tells you.
Yeah.
First. So we look at the data and I can show you on a map every single fix and flip that happened in the last 12 months. Okay. And why I bring up fix and flips, it's not because you have to do fix and flips, but the majority of the time we measure how good a deal is based off of a percentage of ARV, right? So the lower the percentage, the better the deal is. And if you're trying to make a property into a deal, if you operate in an area where there's high investor activity, it's going to be easier for you to assemble all of the pieces you need to turn that into a deal, because you literally can't prove after repair value on a house if you have no renovated comps.
Right.
So don't spend time looking for properties in areas where there's not investor activity, because you don't have all the essential ingredients for building a deal.
And you're fighting an uphill battle when you do flip it.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Because if eventually, and this is what we tell people, you think several steps down the line.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the 7 habits of highly effective people. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. And if you're thinking about, okay, if I go and I can find a property in this neighborhood, let's just say I can. Is there data around there that's going to help me prove after repair value to a buyer? or if you're a buyer, an appraiser.
Yep.
And if you think like that and you recognize and you're honest with yourself, well, yeah, there's no one flipping in there, then don't waste your time looking.